Today I made a smartphone tripod adapter. I did this to address the horrible shakiness and handling noise of my last video. I was originally going to make a really fancy Steadicam thing. It was basically like a barbell with a big fat battery on one end. It would be PVC linking this case to a big battery, and I wired up this car charger with spade connectors, and it's going to be all slick and stuff. Then I couldn't find the battery I was going to use. It was a big battery from a Razor scooter, an electric Razor scooter. Couldn't find it, so after much agonizing over what to do about that, I decided to just make an adapter for a tripod. So I made it out of my old case, because I just ordered a new case that came with all the accessories that I would need to make the charging special Steadicam thing. So this one came, I don't know, throw away, kind of. You put it in that first layer. Oh no, this is no good. I don't know what this is going to mean for the videos. This just might be upside down. Oh no. And then, and you stick it in here. So if I use a digital zoom, it's basically just cropping it as I go. So, unlike with an optical zoom, I can get like hyper macro action. Bam. Look at that. That is gorgeous. Let's have a look at these bolts. Oh yeah, look at those bolts. So close. I don't know what the effective resolution is now, but I'd say it's enough P. Ha ha ha, so freaking funny. Anyways, now I can just pick up the whole tripod, and just the weight hanging down should make the video more stable. Oh Lord, it's messy. Since the tripod adapter is rather insubstantial as its own video, let's check out the home theater system. Now, I know this isn't really a reference kind of music system, definitely isn't in fact, but for what it is, it sounds pretty nice, and it's definitely nice and loud for movies and video games. So, let's get started. Here we have, of course, a PS3. Got it for cheap from my friend, and I really can't recommend it enough right now because they're cheap and they'll do any media streaming you want, and it's got some pretty good games too. Not to say I'm not into PC gaming, but here's an Xbox 360, it's my brother's, whatever, and there's our launch Wii that we pooled for and bought when we were both like 10 years younger. Here's the receiver. It's a Sony STR-DH500. I actually blew this one time, but it was a really weird failure. It was the transformer. The safety fuse in there that keeps it from getting too hot and burning down your house opened. Well, I didn't blow out a transformer or anything like that. It didn't even go into protect, it just stopped. It was kind of weird to me. I'd think it wasn't distorting, so even though it was turned all the way up, so I wasn't really being mean to it or pushing it beyond the limits. It's just, it's not even hot down here. It's just, well, it struck me as a weird failure, but I bought a similar receiver and the transformer was close enough I was able to make it work in here. But I did put a fan right above where the transformer is in the case, so maybe it'll help that not happen in the future. Down here we have a little Behringer mixer. Pretty much any time I'm listening to music is through this somehow. It's got a couple RCA inputs, and it's also got USB DAC function. I have it hooked up to this computer over here, but this computer's kind of not working. I'm kind of too lazy to address that right now. It has something to do with the graphics card, because I was able to use it with a remote desktop like TeamViewer, but nothing's getting to this display. It could be the ridiculous long VGA run I have that's coupled like 3 times, but I'll get to fixing that eventually. It's nice to have a computer dedicated to Spotify that I can control with my smartphone or whatever, It's just always down here, always a source, especially since I have Spotify Premium. But anyways, I can also plug in a bass or something there. That's fun. Here we have a Marantz old school EQ unit. Its input is a sub out on this, so the sub out goes to this, and I don't know, there's just way too much 60 hertz range stuff down here, so I pull that out, pull out the 400 because that's just kind of where it gets muddy. I'm using the sub out for basically all the bass. Here is where the signal goes next. It's a 3-way crossover set to 4-way mode, mono, and that I'm only doing that so I can get a really low crossover point between those kick pins over there. It's actually 2 stacked on top of each other. Focus. Yeah, that's 610s over there, sealed, about a cube each. And then over here we have 512s in a box that's ported and tuned to 18 hertz, and boy does it play 18 hertz. Crossover between them is around 45 hertz. So really most of the bass comes from over there, and there is a little localization, but as I said before, this isn't really a reference music system. It's kind of a bam, whiz, wait for the drop bro kind of system, and it is great for movies. The amp I have powering it is not as bad as it looks. Gem Sound, for a while, were selling a line of amps that were like QSC clones. On the inside there's a huge toroidal transformer, and then each side has got its own bank of Toshiba output devices. And then my dad actually added about, I think it was 2 pairs aside, because all the driver circuitry was already there. So the clip lights and the VU meters aren't really accurate anymore, because it can produce more power than originally. So one side's powering those, it's a 6 ohm load. The other side is powering this, which is also a 6 ohm load, I think. There's each pair is wired in series, I think, but then this one's wired with a dummy resistor. I forgot how I did it, but it comes to around 6 ohms. And I should probably, my dad actually has the whole line. He bought them broken and then repaired them. Once he got a 3500 first, and then was like, whoa, I can't believe that. Because, you know, what do you expect when you buy a Gem Sound amp? So he then proceeded to get like the whole lineup, and there is a 5500 I might hook up later. He's not using it because these can take a little more power than what that's putting out. So the other speakers, left, center, right, are all exactly the same except for the enclosures, which are temporary, but they're all sealed, so they're pretty much close enough. Yeah, I've been jonesing kind of LCR all being the exact same thing lately. They are, in fact, the redneck coaxials I built in a previous video. I did it by taking these GRS full ranges, this is an extra one, and these are meant to be just like the Pioneer Bofu woofers, which are, as I mentioned in a different video, kind of a favorite of the DIY community because they're just really good for 20 bucks. These are genuine Bofus over here with a tweeter that comes in at about 6K. Then back over here, I'll probably put an annotation of the video of this, but it's just a little piece of metal. It sticks to the pole piece, and there it is. It's crossed over, well, crossed in at like 7K or 5K, something like that. It sounds pretty good. Plenty of sizzle for dialogue and stuff. And since the crossover is so much higher than twice the resonance, which on these I believe comes to about 2500, the power handling is good too. And you know, that's also helped by the fact that its heatsink is totally open to the air. A lot of factors conspire to the pretty good power handling of this setup right here, because I was here it is. This might be the actual one. I have 2 of these. I originally had just one of these in the middle of the center one when I was trying this whole thing out, because this is a tweeter that is documented as going well with this kind of woofer, but just couldn't take the heat, man. I just couldn't take the heat. This obviously is designed to go lower, so if you cross it over higher, it has the effect of increasing the power handling, because not only is more or less power overall going to it, the less damaging low frequencies are kept out of it. The more damaging low frequencies, yeah. So, last of all, we've got the TV, which is a Sony rear projection model 1080i. It looks pretty good, you know. For $100 that I got it for on Craigslist, it's pretty awesome. The colors are really nice. There's no banding like on a cheap LCD screen you can get, because it's actually a CRT projector in there, not a DLP or anything. So I think that was a pretty good score. 51 inches for $100, you kind of can't complain. Looks nice with the game consoles and for movies. It overscans quite a bit, which can be annoying, because then menus and stuff get cut off at the edges, and it's like, what button do I press? But definitely provides a pretty good experience overall. So that's pretty much it. It's you know, home theaters do get a lot crazier than this, but I feel like this is right around the knee of where you start paying a lot more for a little improvement. All this probably comes under $2,000 or so, including the consoles. So yeah, I think I've done pretty well. Although, I might add that other sub over there. Have another one of these. It would take some reconfiguring, but home for the summer, I think I might do it. Stay tuned.